Welcome to another edition of Down to the Wire. I'm not sure who our guest is today, whether it's this horse or whether it's Rod Cohn. I'll let Rod introduce the horse to everybody, and then I'll introduce Rod.
This is Oved, recently retired from racing, now a pony outriding horse. Belongs to my granddaughters.
No, and hence why he's still around. You can't get rid of a horse that belongs to the grandkids, and it looks like it's going to be very useful. On this show, we have mentioned in the past that horses can be retrained if they're not able to race, not fast enough to race, too old to race. There's certainly other uses for them, and here's a great example.
Absolutely. We've retired several of them to jumpers, 3-day event horses, just saddle horses, trail horses. These thoroughbreds are wonderful animals and very versatile.
And another example of just how versatile they are, chuck wagons. They race out the chuck wagons for a long time.
Yeah, they run for some of them run for 10 years there after they've retired from racing.
That's great. Well, Rod Cohn, trainer for many, many years. I remember back at Stampede Park for a long time. Been in the game for how many years?
Been coming since I was 4 years old. I started in the late 60s shoeing thoroughbreds, and I've been shoeing horses right up till a couple of years ago, about 50 years of shoeing, and went training in the late 80s.
Family was in it. I think you said a grandfather was interested in the game, was a blacksmith, and then your father was a fan?
Yeah, my father took me when I was 4 years old, and I never quit coming after that.
Well, that's better for the business because of it. Trained all over North America. I know you winter, have raced in Florida, also winter in Florida yourself, which is a nice gig right now. Where else have you raced?
Oh, California, upstate New York, Ohio, Louisiana, the list goes on.
For sure. No family in the game now yourself?
Yeah, my two stepsons are both here. One's a veterinarian, one's training here. My wife trained up until a few years ago and assisted me. Actually, I guess I assisted her most of the time. She's the real trainer in the family. Her mother and father both trained, so lots of family involved.
No, that's good too, and it's something you can do right till your knees don't hold up or your back. I'm sure as a blacksmith you've got some more pains.
Oh yeah, I've got a few aches and pains, but this kind of stuff makes you just forget it all.
Yeah, for sure. Snowing today again. We've had a very, very tough meet, only a couple of real nice days. We're standing looking outside. This will be aired next Thursday. Hopefully it's in the double digits by that time. What do you have to do other than working around the track, the ice in the back area? How do you overcome all these hurdles?
We grin and bear it. We don't have any choice. I mean, you look out and yeah, it looks a little tough right now, but there's places that have it a lot worse than us. And the horses don't mind the cold. They'll take more cold than they will heat, actually, if the truth be known. And they don't mind it as long as they're out of the wind like this and lots to eat. It's not hard on the horses. They don't seem to mind running in it. It's very hard on the jockeys. They're the ones that suffer the most because they're in very light clothing. They have to sit on those little tiny saddles out there in the wind, and they're the ones that suffer. Us trainers can saddle our horse and get back inside and warm up, but they got to sit out there till the race is over. So.
Very good point. And those that came last year on our last weekend of racing, extreme conditions, snow, it was awful, but everybody wanted the show to go on. The track's trying, the horsemen are trying, the jockeys are trying, and kudos to them at all given times.
Right. Absolutely. Like just everybody that pitches in and makes the show work, all your staff has done a great job. I can't say enough about your grounds crew here. They've bent over backwards to accommodate us, to make the horses comfortable. They've had to overcome just a tremendous fall of bad weather, but they've done a great job and we appreciate it.
Well, we'll certainly pass that on, and they'll see this on the show as well. Yes, as most know, 32 centimeters or something ridiculous of snow. One of the biggest problems here at the track is with it freezing. So we put down calcium, liquid calcium on the track to try and break up the dirt clogs. It's just been a real tough experience for everybody. Going forward, there's a new racetrack going to be opened up in Leduc, Century Mile, owned by Century Casinos as well. Let's hope that brings some stability to racing in general. What are your thoughts there?
I just think we're so lucky. We have two new tracks in Alberta. This track, you're people are building us a track at Leduc, and they're closing tracks. They've closed 2 in the last 10 years in California, never replaced them. We're getting 2 new tracks, and it's going to be fantastic. We're going to have some of the best racing in Canada once that mile track is up and running.
Well, I certainly hope you're right as well. And again, we all know that racing benefits from slot machines. It's going to be a beautiful facility. The track is being laid as we speak. The building's going well in advance. So for those of you that are watching, there is a Century Downs Mile website. You can keep track of it. Another fact is, Rod, I know you've been on the HPPA board for years. You've put back, I'm on the Standardbred Canada board as well, and that's my way of giving back to an industry that's been very good to me. I'm assuming that would be similar for you.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to do our part. We all have to help, and everybody's got to cooperate. And our HPPA has, worked very well with your company, and we're going to continue to work with them. I've been on the board quite a few years and really enjoyed myself. I'm about ready to retire. I've had quite a few years, and I'm going to let some of the young guys take over. But I think we're going to have a very good relationship. The HPPA and the tracks are getting along very well.
Well, and that's another good point too, is the young people should be stepping up in both breeds or all breeds of horse racing. Give back to what, it's easy to sit back and criticize and everything that's going on, but put your name forward and do it.
Absolutely, appreciate that.
On another note, I'd like to also say that, Rod, you've really helped me a lot. I wasn't as familiar with the thoroughbreds, been around the racing forever, and anytime I had a problem, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to go to you or you making suggestions. You do a lot of work that nobody even knows about. You bring down saddlecloths and towels and stuff that nobody even knows until all of a sudden it's there that day. On another note, I know when your jockey Ray Williams got injured, you were there, you took him to the hospital, and that's the stuff that just goes unnoticed. But from what I can see, thank you very much for your contribution to the backstretch that people don't know.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure, and I know that all those things that I've done, I know that other people would do them for me around this side. The people are very big-hearted back here on the backside.
Yes, they are. When anybody they just had a fundraiser for Ray last week, a barbecue, over $5,000 or something like that was raised. We also had the prostate cancer thing here. So yeah, the backstretch, we all like to gripe about each other, but when somebody's down, we're all the first ones there. So Rod, thank you for doing this. I'm sure you're counting down the days to Florida. All the best, and we'll see you here next fall.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming too. You're awesome. Alrighty, down to the wire. We'll give it another go next week. Thank you for joining us.